Welcome back to Active Vernon. It is late September 2021, and Adventure Girl and I have finally got on a really great adventure that didn't include hot weather or wildfire smoke. We are in Nakusp right now, but we started our adventures in Revelstoke.
We stayed at a place called Base Camp Resorts. It is just a couple kilometers north of Highway 1 on Highway 23. Practically brand new. I think they opened last year sometime. We had a nice one-bedroom condo on the lower level with a patio. It was really lovely. So we arrived there in the afternoon, earlier than check-in time. So we went down to the Illecillewaet Greenbelt and spent an hour and a half riding around on the trails in that area, which are really fun. Mountain bike trail, footpaths, mountain bike trails. They've done a great job. They have a footbridge across one of the tributaries of the river. It's right where the Illicit River comes into the Columbia. And we rode out to basically the point, right? At the end, and came back.
Yeah, so it's a river delta where the Illecillewaet meets the Columbia River. And when the water is low, there's all sorts of little trails, and we did get out to some of the banks of the river. There was a lot of foot trails there, and it's really easy to find from downtown Revelstoke because we just parked at the library one day, and when we went back, we parked at Centennial Park where there's a change room, washroom, and everything like that. And then there's a paved path that follows the Columbia River south to the Illecillewaet Greenbelt area.
The first full day we were in Revelstoke, it rained, and so we went for a walk in the woods, which was really quite lovely. Directly across Highway 23 from where we were staying was the start of the 23 Connector Trail that goes up into Mount Revelstoke National Park. It comes out at the gate. And when we got to the gate, we talked to the parks person, and she recommended we walk up the road a little ways and do the Inspiration Woods Trail, which was a lovely trail through the forest.
It is so unlike the Okanagan. There are ferns, there are cedar trees, there are lots of different types of mushrooms, and it was a really lovely soft footpath kind of a walk. It's a lollipop trail, so there's a trail that goes out to a loop and then it comes back.
We crossed the road and went a little ways down on Sorensen loop and then came back out basically right at the park gate again and went back down 23 Connector and back home for lunch. And then we spent the afternoon wandering around downtown Revelstoke. Went to some of my favorite stores in Revelstoke.
No shortage of outdoor stores in Revelstoke.
Was great, and bike shops, and then we went back and we cooked dinner in our condo. We went out for dinner one night in Revelstoke to the Village Idiot. The rest of the time, because we had a kitchen, we cooked all of our meals. The next full day, we had an easy morning, just sitting around drinking coffee and reading, and then we went out to, after lunch, we went out to Mount McPherson, which is a cross-country ski and mountain bike trails area. There's several different parking lots. We parked at Griffith's Forest Service Road entrance. We first rode there's an adaptive loop there, which was really fun.
I think that was Miller Trail.
I think it's called Miller Time or Miller Trail or something like that. And then we got onto some of the beavers, which are green trails. There was Dusty Beaver and
Eager Beaver, Beaver Tail.
Beaver Tail. Even though they were green trails, I found them a little bit challenging and was walking some of it. So at one point we came out and we just continued up on the forestry road, came out at the top of the hydro lines, and then basically made our way back mostly on the wider double track cross country kind of trails. The day we were leaving, Friday morning, we packed up and we went and parked down at Centennial Park and rode around the Illecillewaet Greenbelt again for a couple of hours, which was really just a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're nice trails, so they're all sandy sort of surface, and I think we benefited from the water levels being very, very low. So the surfaces were hard packed sand and low scrub kind of a thing, so there is always lots of views. There's only one section that's really in the trees, really, and that is a lovely little serpentine sort of part of the trail. So that is highly recommended if you are looking for easy trails that are fun and scenic, because I don't know how many pictures of Mount Begbie I got.
Yeah, and it was just, I mean, it was blue sky, and just Mount Begbie was just beautiful, as were some of the other mountains around
Oh, yeah.
Revelstoke. Yeah. So then we stopped into the Modern Cafe and had lunch, which is always delicious. Then we headed south on Highway 23 to Shelter Bay, where we caught the ferry over to Galena Bay.
Yeah, we just missed the ferry, so we had some time to look at the chipmunks and so. But it was a very calm crossing.
It was a nice trip.
Yeah,
trip
big
across.
open deck ferry. Yeah, really nice.
Then we drove down to Nakusp. We're staying at a place called Murphy's Landing. It's an RV park, and they have 4 cabins. We have cabin number 2. It's quite lovely. Again, we have a full kitchen. Saturday, we drove out to New Denver and parked off the side of the highway and got onto the Galena Trail, which is an old rail bed.
It's a lovely ride beside Slocan Lake. It's not a developed lake. There's not a lot of noises to be heard on the lake or on the highway beside it.
And then last night we walked on there's a path into town, into Nakusp, and we had dinner on the patio at the Leland. Today we drove north up Highway 23 about 15-20 minutes to a recreation site called Mount Abriel, and there is a whole bunch of mountain bike trails there, and they were so fun. I found it on Trail Forks, and when I first looked at it, I thought, well, there's a couple of green trails, and if we do those, then we can maybe ride up the forestry road, see how far I can get up, and then come down one of the easier of the 2 trails that come down. But honestly, those trails were so much fun. I think we did 3 loops of the Sky Captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an upper and a lower. Then we got down onto the North and South Lake trails, took that right out to where the trails end, came back on the campsite gravel road
To the lower parking lot.
Yeah, did another loop of Sky Captain.
We went down to the lookout point.
That was lovely spot on the lake. We had a snack there, and then we came back up, did another loop of Sky Captain, I think.
There was something Homestead,
and then we were almost at the parking lot, back at the parking lot where we had parked, and we saw a blue trail called Badfish, I think it was.
Something like that.
And so we decided to try that. I probably rode half, walked half. But it was actually a really nice trail. And then we were actually having so much fun on it that we didn't take the first green exit down to Sky Captain. We kept going and took the first blue exit down, which was Dusty Panther, and that was so much fun. We actually had gained a fair bit of elevation. We were up parallel with the highway, and so Dusty Panther was a downhill, which was so fun. There were these, I don't know what they're called. They're like rollers, whoop-de-doos. They're like rollers, but they're bigger. Sky Captain had all these lovely little rollers, but these were, you would go up, plateau, come down. But when you were coming up, you couldn't see what the down was. And a few really nicely banked switchbacks. Like there was 2 of the whoop-de-doo things that I didn't ride because I was coming up them and going, how steep down is it on the other side? But I rode everything else. I rode all the switchbacks, and then we did a couple more loops of Sky Captain.
That connected to Sky Captain, where there's a nice little seat.
Yeah, and we had lunch there.
And we just did a bunch of trails over again.
Yeah, it was so fun. And the first parking lot where we parked was full when we got back to the car at 2:00 on a Saturday afternoon.
But there's 3 parking lots.
Yeah, there's 3 parking lots. There's a campground. There's a skills park.
Oh yeah.
And the mountain bike trails were all built by the Nakusp Bike Society. There's red donation boxes where you can leave a cash donation to help maintain the trails. And now we're back trying to decide what we're going to do for supper, and unfortunately we have to go home tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. That's a quick look at our 6-day trip to Revelstoke and Nakusp.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay. Why don't you do it? Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Oh,
Or no, not lunch. A snack, and then we came back. Oops.